Hello. Welcome back to Let's Talk Ray Bradbury. If you're not subscribed to our channel, please do. So, alright, been a little bit, but finally getting back to my exploration of these stories of Ray Bradbury. We are up to story number 33 of 100 in this collection. The story is The Foghorn from 1951. This story was adapted very, very loosely into the 1953 film The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. There's also some glaring similarities to Godzilla, which came a year later in 1954. But to get into a quick synopsis, a young man is working at a secluded white lighthouse out on a cape a couple miles from lands. His co-worker is a man named McDunn, who is prone to storytelling. This young man's been on the job for about 3 months. McDunn has been there for about 5 years since the lighthouse was first built, and they first turned on the glaring light and the giant foghorn. That night, just before the narrator is scheduled to go into town for a few weeks for his leave, McDunn takes the boy up to the top of a lighthouse, turns off the light in the foghorn, and says, "I want to show you something." So they wait there in the darkness, he turns the light off and not the foghorn. In the distance, under the moonlight, they see a shape begin to rise, a wave up to the surface, and then gradually a head is revealed and a long neck, and in total it's a 100-foot giant sea monster from the depths, a place that McDunn has dubbed the Deeps. McDunn, he theorizes that this creature's been waiting there for millions of years, past its own time. Possibly, it's waiting the long return of its mate because it is lonely and it's been sort of in a dormant state at the bottom of the ocean for millions of years, and that eons and epochs have come and gone, and that man has risen out of the sea itself, and sort of a strange impossibility to it, that we're the strangeness, our weird world of mechanical things like lighthouses, but it's in its time of slumber, the world has sort of become alien to it. The creature, as he turns the lighthouse back on, sort of attacks. Or maybe it's just trying to fuck the lighthouse. I'm not entirely sure. But the lighthouse crumbles. They manage to escape. And that is the end of the narrator's time of employment on the job. They tell the authorities who come to rescue them that a wave had knocked the lighthouse down, and that in the coming year, as McDunn supervises the construction of a new one, it's built to be reinforced and to be more strong, allegedly to prevent wave destruction, but we all know what it's for. But the narrator, he moves on from the job, starts a family, but he does go to the shore periodically and sort of listens out for the foghorn and sort of wonders if the creature ever returned, though McDunn, when he talks to him, says that, no, I have not seen the beast again yet. So, interesting little tale. Written in 1951, so it predates the 1954 film Godzilla. As I mentioned up front, it was adapted into a film called The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, which I've not seen. Sounds like a pretty atrocious 50s science fiction movie. But that too came out in 1953, which precedes Godzilla. And I mentioned Godzilla because in The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, there is a nuclear element. That element is not found in Bradbury's original tale, but there's obviously some connections going on. I think the story more closely resembles the work of H.P. Lovecraft. Cthulhu comes to mind. Dagon comes to mind. Also, there was a tale he did. There's two of them. One is the strange high house in a mist. And then there's another one about a lighthouse, I think, and the character sort of daydreams and goes into the dream realms, and but it very much has that sort of mythic quality that was common to Lovecraft. Separating it from Lovecraft is the most important sort of element of the story, which is Bradbury creates an interesting little yarn in the space of 4 or 5 pages where we're actually sympathetic towards the monster. Too often it's like the monster is always representing malice, and I don't sense that McDunn or the narrator feel any malice towards this creature. They see it sympathetically as a tragic character, a tragic beast that has outlived its time and is now spent millions of years in solitude and loneliness and slumber at the bottom of the ocean, waiting for something to return, a mate perhaps, or another time when its own kind maybe rules the world again. And you really, it sort of tugs at your heartstrings and you feel for it. And I love that Bradbury went this direction where you're not viewing it as a monster. And I think that's something, in a very vague sense, that we can all sort of learn from in our world, where we shouldn't necessarily see things that are scary and big and dangerous as being enemies. Is an elephant your enemy? It can freaking kill you, but in the end, it's a creature, it's a living being, and its size makes it dangerous, but it also reacts like humans do, in the sense that it would protect its young, or yearn for its mate, and it's just trying to survive. And if you get bumped into it, it might kill you, but it wasn't necessarily out of malice. And I think that's important. This idea that we shouldn't necessarily brand what is big and dangerous and strange and alien to us as being malicious, even though it is dangerous, and that you should sort of tread lightly and sort of feel sympathy and empathy for it. And I think that's what Bradbury is doing sort of expertly here in The Foghorn from 1951. All right, guys, that was story number 33 of 100 in this Stories of Ray Bradbury collection, which I've been reading through. When we're done, we will have read and reviewed over 200 Ray Bradbury stories, because this is the second collection of 100 that I've been working on for Bradbury. So if you're enjoying these and reading along, the next story is number 34 of 100, and that is The Black and White Game from way back in 1945. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, keep it creepy.